Versus Wolves. We face the worst team in the league at Old Trafford tonight, and only a convincing win is acceptable. No nervousness needed at all, and that'd be absolutely great. We have had some huge, surprising news that apparently Shea Lacer is going to be starting for Manchester United. Obviously, he got a couple of minutes in the last game. But to be starting is quite significant, and obviously we'll speak about whether that's due to injuries or whether he deserves it, etc. But yeah, Sam, quite big news that in a Premier League game, Shea Lacey starting, mega for the kid.
Well, sorry to piss on your chips, but I've just seen the team lineup. He's not starting.
He's not starting.
No, I've just seen the lineup now.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, fucking that has shit on me chips. So let's actually rejig this team then, because obviously someone was wrong.
It's Zirkzee.
Okay.
It's not Shea Lacey.
So do we think Zirkzee is going to be on the left then?
I'd assume so. Because Sesko's in the team as well. So while you're doing that, I'll run through the team.
Okay.
It's Le Mans, Dallo, Martinez, Cunha, Zirkzee, Dorgu, Casemiro, Shaw, Ugarte, Heaven, Sesko.
Yeah.
And then on the bench, we've got Bayende, Fredrickson, Malacia, Yoro, Jack Fletcher, Tyler Fletcher, Shea Lacey, Bendito Mantato, and Chido Obi.
Yeah, someone's obviously smoking something. If a lot of reports prior to the game that Shea Lacey is going to be starting, so yeah, that's technically a start in someone else's head. Unfortunately, I'm sure he'll get off the bench because we've seen a lot of the youngsters do that in the game against Newcastle, so they'll get minutes regardless. But I'm going to pop the team on the screen as soon as I can when it decides to want to upload, and then we'll have a proper look at it so we can discuss it. But yeah, Sam, given the opposition that we're playing, any worries tonight at all? Haven't seen that lineup.
I'd hope not. Zirkzee obviously had a really bad game versus Newcastle, so I would hope that he has a slight improvement tonight, because we need somebody on that, especially if he is playing in that left 10 position. We need somebody to perform there. So yeah, I'm hoping we can see a better performance from him. But yeah, that team that we've got, like Casemiro, Shaw, Sesko, Cunha, Martinez and stuff, like that should be enough to get the job done against a very, very poor Wolves side. Let's all be honest, like it's a very poor Wolves side.
Yeah, so I've pieced this together in my head how I think it could be, but honestly, there's a number of positions there where it could just be, Casemiro and Ugarte more as kind of a double pivot. You could have Zirkzee as a 10, Cunha out on the left, Zirkzee out on the left or out on the right. Dog, like you don't really know, and maybe that is something else as well, Sam. That another surprise factor from Ruben Amorim, because it's felt like each game he's had a little something up his sleeve, hasn't he?
Yeah, tactically, obviously, I don't know if everybody's seen the video by now, but it's been making the rounds on socials of Eddie Howe basically telling Lewis Hall to tell Ramsdale to go down, because they realised the tactical switch needed to be had, because they weren't prepared for what the back four and the way Amorim was set up. And obviously, second half, we sort of fell apart a little bit. So hopefully, maybe he's got something different here. Maybe he's got a little bit of a tweak, but I don't think we need to like tweak too much. Like I thought the first half against Newcastle was really good. I thought the first half against Villa was good as well. So I don't think we need to tweak that much, to be honest with you. So hopefully we can just get the job done. Nice professional win, and let's go.
I think the bench speaks volumes of how much we're missing certain players. There's also a rumor as well that Sekou Kone was supposed to be on the bench, and he's not even on the bench either. So yeah, someone's getting some dodgy information from somewhere. A bit bizarre. But the bench is Bayende, Fredrickson, Malacia, Yoro, Fletcher, obviously Jack Fletcher, Tyler Fletcher, Shea Lacey, Mantato, and Chido. So it's predominantly youth players that are on the bench, which it's not a bad thing. You like to see these boys get an opportunity, but sometimes when you want to change a game, if the game's a little bit stale, I'd imagine Wolves are going to sit back a little bit more tonight. You need those kind of options, and especially with Mason Mount missing's huge in it, Sam.
Yeah, a bit gutted. We know Mason Mount's injury history, and I hope that it's not a big injury. Like, I really do hope, because if it is, I don't know, it might spell the end of his United career. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what, the third injury he might have had now, and if it keeps him out for a while, like, I don't know if you can rely on him anymore. Like, he looks so good leading up to like this season so far, and then if he gets another big injury, yeah, I don't know. I'll worry for him.
I'd love to know everyone's thoughts on this team, by the way. Where do you think Zirkzee is going to play? Where do you think Cunha will be deployed as well? Or do you think it'll be kind of rotational? Do you think Patrick Dorgu's on the right-hand side again, or could it be Diego Dalot? Yeah, and multiple questions in there. Zirkzee shouldn't be near that first team. No harm. That's from Happy Life. I'm seeing a 6-0 win for United tonight.
Wow.
My God. Tim99 in the chat as well as Real Red Ultra member and has been for a long time. I appreciate you, brother, saying, come on, United. And Sid saying, could you imagine how bad things would have been if we were in Europe with this threadbare squad? I said the exact same thing off camera.
Yeah.
The exact same
thing. We'd be screwed. We'd be absolutely screwed.
You'd be out. Yeah, it won't be great. Not mad at the lineup. Chivy's happy. I think it's mainly because Joshua Zirkzee is starting.
Zirkzee's in it. Yeah.
I think it's Ugarte and Cass midfield. I'd imagine so, yeah. But who knows? Like I said, Amrin's been surprising us quite literally with every fucking game. So what I like to do, Sam, when we do the pre-match build-ups is start from the goalkeeper to the forwards. And Le Mans, there was an interview that came out today with his agent, Mark Volders, saying that Man United were proven right to go for Le Mans instead of Martinez. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Martinez, if I'm honest. I think he's got a mistake in him and a clanger, a howler. I think we've seen that multiple times. I think he's a bit of a dickhead as well, to be honest with you. Like, he's a bit irritating. And then when he comes to your team, you obviously have to defend him, don't you? And you have to be like, well, he's our dickhead. And I don't know if I could do that.
And Sandro.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad we made that move. I'm glad we got Onana out of the club as well. Like, I think that was a big thing. Bayindir obviously isn't the one either, so maybe we can move him on as well in the summer and get bring back is it Vitek at Bristol, who's done quite well. Maybe he can come in and challenge Le Mans. Like, that might be a good idea. So yeah, I'm happy with Le Mans. Like, I think he's been a breath of fresh air, and the fact that we can have a corner or a set piece and we'd be like, it's calm, it's okay. We don't have to worry. Like, that makes all the difference.
I am happy with Le Mans. I've been watching so Finalysis on Sky Sports. Sometimes they obviously bring fans on and have a chat, and I do think some of them were going a little bit overboard with Le Mans. You know, saying that, comparing him to like Courtois and keepers like that. And obviously,
give it a rest.
Naturally, the comparisons get made because he's Belgium, tall keeper, calm, composed, etc. And maybe he might end up being that goalkeeper. But I think because the bar was so low at United with Bayindir and Onana, it could have took anyone to come in and go in there, and it could have raised the standard slightly. So I don't think he's been, just my opinion, I don't think he's been incredible. I just think he's been good, steady, like what we needed at the time, and hopefully it can improve and grow. I saw Rio Ferdinand making a comparison to, because he's been at Carrington quite a lot, a comparison to Edwin van der Sar in his... the way he is as a person, his personality, stature, those kind of things. So hearing all great things and seeing good things on the pitch, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's being pushed a little bit too much. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, like that pressure we put on young players, and they go, oh, he's like this top player, and then oh great, now he has to live up to that expectation. Like, I don't like that. Like, it's not. Like JJ Gabriel, always the best youth players ever to play for United. Like, why are we doing this to the kid? Like, let's just let him do his game and learn and all that sort of stuff. Same with Le Mans. He's been steady, solid 6, 7 out of 10 each week. Obviously, he's young. He's 23. So as a goalkeeper, that's really young, like really, really young. So he needs time to develop and get better with experience and stuff. Let's not start comparing him to one of the greatest goalies of all time for United. Like, let's not do that. Like, that doesn't help him. Like, let's just let him get on with his game and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully you start racking these clean sheets up now, because we had only had one all season against Sunderland, and we just kept one against Newcastle as well. You would think a toothless Wolves at Old Trafford, that's another huge opportunity to get another clean sheet. And then you start building momentum going into the Leeds game and the Burnley game. And then obviously you've got big games against Arsenal and Manchester City. Obviously, Diego Dalot's a part of that defence, Sam. Starting at right back, we think. He's improved over the last 5 games, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's been better. I don't think he's been outstanding. Like, I think that season under Ragnick was probably his best. Like, I think he had an absolute phenomenal season, probably our best player. But to be honest, a lot of the players were shite. Yeah. So maybe it was comparing apples and oranges like a little bit. But I think, yeah, he definitely has improved. I think he's pushing more forward. He's putting crosses into the box. He's not going backwards and cutting in and then passing sideways or backwards as much. So yeah, I hope it continues, man, because we need something on that right hand side with Ahmad not being here at the AFCON and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it can only be good for United, like the way he's playing.
Yeah, I think he has. Listen, I'll never go absolutely mad over the hills about Diego Dalot, because we all know he's got his flaws. But you have to give a guy when he's in form and when he's playing well, you got to give him his flowers. And I think he's definitely stepped up, and that's what I'm most glad with some of the players that have been. I don't know if you call it on the fringe, or the players that people are proper unsure about, you Dorgus, Dallots, they have stepped up a little bit. And that's obviously a huge part of getting results, because if every player's doing 7s and 8s, you're more likely to get a result if you've got a couple of players who are dropping 9s and then everyone else is dropping 4s and 5s. So I'm happy they've elevated the performances, and that again fits in with the category of the centre back partnership. They're the two who are most excited to see again. In a weird way, like everyone leans towards attackers and the excitement with Cunha, etc. But them two in particular, Sam, Lisandro Martinez and Heaven, that seemed to be a nice blend, that, didn't it?
Yeah, Heaven, I thought, had one of his best performances last week. I thought he was really, really good. Clearances on the ball, his awareness, his position, I think everything was really good. Having Lisandro back, he didn't look out of place either. Yeah. Like, he looked like he slotted straight in.
Looked great. It
was back to the same Lisandro spitting diagonals and passes, and just I've missed so much of him being on the ball, somebody going to press in and him just going fuck off and just turning and like just getting out and getting out. Like, I've missed that so much, because a lot of our defenders just aren't good at that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Yoro has another, not Yoro, if Heaven has another great game, Sandro. Like, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe there's a partnership in there, if they could develop. But yeah, I hope it continues.
Yeah. Likewise. I'm more than happy with the formation than Zirkzee starting. We'll speak about it after the game, don't worry, Trevor. Sid the Whistle saying Dorgu will stay right. Zirkzee and Cunha will rotate left centre. James McGrogan saying, really hope Sesko gets a goal tonight. Better not see that Zirkzee from last game. His head looked in Rome. Yeah, I agree with all them comments there. We'll get into the attack in a minute. Still a couple of players that I want to talk about. That Casemiro and Ugarte partnership is another interesting one for me. I think Ugarte, when he plays, Ruben Amorim always describes it, and he says Ugarte is in direct competition with Casemiro, and Kobe Mainu is in direct competition with Bruno Fernandes. But given that Mainu and Bruno are both injured, that's why they have been playing together. But I do feel like it gives Ugarte a bit more of a license, and he plays better as more of a free roaming 8, where he can go attack and put fires out rather than sitting and protecting. I think Casemiro, that's his bread and butter, and that's why we have him in the team and why he's such an important player. So the balance, I think the only time Ugarte has had his really good performances, for the most part, is when he's had Casemiro next to him. But you do lose that creativity, Sam. That's what I'm worried a little bit. Where's that going to come from tonight in that midfield?
Yeah, maybe you hope, because like I touched on with Sandro, his passing is excellent. His ability to switch and hit those diagonals. Maybe he steps into midfield and pushes forward and gets that passing going and be able to do that. We saw a lot from Dorgu when he was playing effectively at right wing. He's putting a lot of really good balls into the box, a lot of very good crosses. So hopefully there's something from there. Cunha is a maverick and he likes to run at players. But I think if he can improve his decision making just a little bit, it can cause some chaos, because there was a couple of moments last week where he was in positions where he had like Dorgu to the left or somebody to the right, and if he sprays out to one of them, you're in on goal 3-on-2, and you might get something. And he chose to head down and just charge into something. So I think if he can work that out, I think we'll be fine. Obviously, you want Bruno Fernandes in that team to create and have stuff like that, but needs must at the minute. We don't have the people at the minute to do that. So hopefully the guys that are in the team can step up again.
Yeah. Just for anyone asking about the Wolves teams, Jose Sarr starting in net. They've got Doherty, Buemo, João Gomez, Arias, Huang Li Chan, Aro Corrade, Mosquera, Mane, Crecha, and Chatchua. Again, a lot of these players, I have no idea. Genuinely, the only ones I recognize are Doherty, Jose Sarr, João Gomez, Mosquera, Huang Li Chan, and that's it. Like the other players, no Strand Larson in the team.
Yeah,
he's on the bench, which is a big surprise. No idea why they've done that. Maybe it's to do with form. Yeah, no idea. I do expect a really defensive performance from Wolves today. I don't think they're going to do what they did in the first game, where it was quite open in that second half. I think they won't be that naive, and they'll try shut up shop and maybe hit us on the counter attack. But no Bellegarde either. Again, I don't know if he's injured or on the bench. So very, very interesting. I do think it's going to be a bit of a low block. Back to the attack line, Sam. Can't talk about the attack without talking about Patrick Dorgu, who had the maddest performance against Newcastle. What did you make of him, and do you think he can continue now in that form, or is that a flash in the pan performance?
I hope not. I hope it's here to stay. We saw him start at right hand side when he came to the club. I think we spoke last week as well. Like at Lecce last season, he played a lot of his season at right wing, so he's clearly very comfortable there. Clearly knows what the position is about and what it requires. I think we've seen hit and miss performances when he's played left wing back, left back. I think there's been games where I've not been happy, and then other games where there's been flashes. But I think that right wing is what really suited him, like his ability to sort of cut in onto his left and do stuff, but also use his right foot as well to put crosses in. It made fullbacks guess a little bit and like, oh, I don't know which way he's going, which leaves you opportunities. He's quick, he's strong, he knows the defensive side of the game as well. So yeah, I would love to see him continue there, because again, if it's not broke, why are you fixing it? Do you know what I mean? Just keep him going. If he's going really well at that position, just keep it going.
Yeah, I think that I'm trying to remember any other performances. I thought he was all right in the final, to be fair, but I think that performance against Newcastle was his best, in my opinion. I thought everything from his attacking game, obviously got the goal, which we took the volley, which was really, really good. But then the blocks, really, really crucial blocks at the start of the game against Newcastle, where he was kind of pinning us back a little bit. Everything, his all-around game was really, really good. So I'm happy to see that, because when you look at the comments from the manager prior, there was a bit of worry, weren't there? Because he was talking about how he's not confident, he's not playing well, but he's got a reaction out of him. So from a coach's perspective, you've done your job, and he's playing well, and we're going to need him tonight, because attack is very, very key. Again, throw it in the same pool, Sam, with Šeško and Cunha. Šeško needs to score, and this is coming from me as well. Šeško needs to score tonight, doesn't he? He needs to just make a statement, score a couple of goals, quieten down the haters a little bit, because he's done well in bits. I think there's parts of his game that's looked really good, but when you've only scored 2 goals, a striker predominantly is going to be judged on goals, isn't it?
Yeah, like I think if you can't score against what is essentially a relegated Wolves at this point, I know mathematically they're not, but they will go down. Like it's going to happen. If you can't score against these guys, then you need to start looking at yourself and be like, what's going wrong with my game? What am I not doing? Like, what do I need to improve on? Because this is the exact sort of game you should be looking at and go, I can get a couple of goals here. I can add to my tally and I can impress the manager, the fans, everybody, and be like, I can do something here. So yeah, he has to get a goal, minimum 1 goal, if not get a couple, just to sort of boost himself and stuff. So yeah, if he looks like he's not up for it, he's not going to score goals and stuff like that, that's going to be a worry. It's definitely going to be a worry.
Yeah, you're not going to have many more opportunities to go on a running streak now. It's because as much as I like the guy, if you spend £70 million on a striker, there's going to be a certain level of expectation because everyone's had the patience with Rasmus Højlund that it's just not going to sell again. And when other teams are brought in, like I know Newcastle's in particularly doing well, but look at Voltemada and the impact that he's kind of had since he's come in. I'm trying to think of other strikers as well. Gyökeres, for as amount of stick that he's got from Arsenal fans, has still got 5 or 6 goals at the club, and he was bought for a similar amount, and we was obviously in for him as well. So I do think the critics are going to come soon. Obviously, it's first season, so they'll be light on him at the minute. But as soon as you get into that second season, if you're still only getting a couple of goals, I think that the hammer's going to start coming down eventually. And I think Šeško will know that. He's not stupid. So fingers crossed. Yeah.
It's gonna be Højlund 2.0 in it. That's going to be the comparison.
Yeah,
70 million from another league, young lad, and he's not cutting it, and he's not doing well. United have invested in another flop, as it were. So that's what's going to happen if he doesn't start scoring.
Yeah, 100%. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Do you think Benjamin Šeško will finally get a couple of goals tonight, if not 1 or 2? It's got to be his night tonight, surely. You'd expect a striker against Wolves, bottom of the table, with all due respect, get a couple. Nick, we are wearing matching shirts tonight, mate. Good stuff. Must be something in the air then. It also goes really well with Real Reds cap. It's like colour schemes and all that kind of jazz. Andy's saying also, if Wolves are going to play a low block, I would have played Shaw left wing back and tell him to cheat his cross into Šeško. Would have been good. I hate this drop in Euro, but Euro's not been in form. If you're just going to play him just because we think he's a wonder kid, like Heaven has been performing really, really well alongside the Sancho. I've got no qualms with dropping Euro. I don't know about you. Sam, hello. Have we lost Sam? I thought he was just blanking me then. I couldn't see that he weren't there. Hopefully he'll rejoin us in a minute if he is still there. I'm not entirely sure. It's lagging on my end anyway. So I'll just have a look and see if there's any quotes coming in from the manager at all about pre-match. Usually we have that. A lot of other games on tonight as well. Don't forget a massive, massive game with Arsenal and Aston Villa, which I think is going to be fascinating. I'm going to have to slam that on the old multi-view because I think that game's going to be interesting. The Villa go level on points with Arsenal if they beat them, which obviously they are a bogey team of theirs. And then the title race really is wide open. I don't know who Manchester City have got. I'll have a look. Let's have a look who they've got. Premier League games. I think they play tomorrow, right? Let's have a look. Sunderland away, which obviously Sunderland haven't lost at home yet, so that could be quite a tricky fixture. But loads of really interesting Premier League games tonight. And when you look at our run for Manchester United, you just think, if you're going to start cementing your place in European positions, and I know we've been here before, and everyone says don't look at the Premier League table and yada yada yada, all this kind of stuff. I get it, right? I understand it. But if you beat Wolves tonight, which you should do, you get decent points against Leeds, even though it's a bit of a rivalry, and then you beat Burnley as well. That's 9 points in the bag when other teams around you are definitely going to drop points. Like Villa's definitely going to drop points because they're playing Arsenal. I think Liverpool have got a tricky game also. Like Palace have started dropping points a little bit now. You got Brentford, who are fucking in 8th place at the minute. So it is a free-for-all. If you just iron out any form of consistency, you're right in the mix of European football, whether that be Champions League or Europa League. So, yeah, we need to get those wins in. Rice is injured, so Arsenal losing their talisman. Villa can take him. Šeško will get 2 goals tonight. That's a prediction from Happy Life. No problems with dropping any of the kids. They've had a bit of a tough time out of the limelight a little while. It's good management. I think Amorim was purposely waiting for the AFCON, this kind of stage that we're in at the minute, to play the likes of Mainu and the other young kids, the less established young kids, and maybe a couple of the fringe players, because he knew, okay, building up to that point, up until December, we've only got 1 game a week. So there's not much game time. We need the points, and we've got the toughest start. So I think it's gone, I'm going to go with the team that I think can deliver the points and is the strongest team I can get. And then when we get to that kind of period where we do need to start chopping and maybe rotating a little bit due to the nature of how many games there are in kind of a cluster, then we can start experimenting a little bit, which is seeing, Doggy on right wing. We've seen Shaw being pushed back to left back. We've seen Heaven getting a run of games. You've seen Dallo kind of change a couple of positions. Ugarte starting alongside Casemiro. So there has been a lot more experimenting, definitely, over the last kind of couple of weeks, I would say. And it all started really, weirdly enough, at that Wolves game, and it's continued. And we're going to have to keep doing that until I think we get our players back for the Arsenal game from AFCON. Like the Ahmad and Mbumo and Mazraoui potentially. I think, Morocco might go quite far, but I think we'll get them back for the Arsenal and City game, which is good. But if we can just keep picking up results and keeping this consistency against them teams that I mentioned in Burnley and Leeds and Wolves tonight, and then you don't know what's going to happen in the FA Cup against Brighton. Obviously, we beat them at Old Trafford already, but Brighton's a different game. They can be a bogey team at times and obviously much better quality than the ones that we're playing. So, yeah, huge opportunities for huge players, and I'm excited to see what kind of youngsters come off the bench again today. I didn't agree with the substitutes that were made in the last game. I feel like that was the one sticking point that everyone was a little bit annoyed with, the fact that you're holding on to this 1-0 lead against a decent Newcastle, decent-ish, obviously the 12th or whatever at the minute, but they've got good players and they've got creative players. And when you're looking at it like, right, he's took Sesko off, which people might have agreed with at the time, but when Joshua Zirkzee came on, I thought he had a stinking performance. I would have liked to have kept Sesko on. I thought he was playing okay and maybe needed a goal, and that was kind of bad management for me. And then he took, I think it was Lisandro Martinez off, which was the captain on the pitch. And obviously he has leadership qualities and experience. And you're taking him off when you're trying to defend the lead, which didn't make sense to me. He took Luke Shaw off, who's been at the club for, people say whatever you want about him, but he's been at the club, for 10 years. And it's bringing on all these young kids. And I was like, that's really, obviously it paid off because we defended the lead, but I thought that's really, really risky move, that. The Mount one made sense because Mount was injured, so he's come off, and natural replacement. There's not many players who can come on for Mason Mount, so we saw that sub, and that was absolutely fine. But I just think it's a dangerous game doing that, and the risk paid off. But yeah, bizarre. Just a quick little stat whilst we're having this conversation. So I've got something here for you, and I was having a look before. I was curious to know, from a data point of view, have we actually improved as a team? So when you go through the metrics. So Man United in the 24-25 season, so at this point last season, we had 22 points. That was after 18 Premier League matches. We've currently got 7 points more, so we're on 29 points, I think, at the minute. And all of last season, we scored 44 goals. We've already scored 32 this season. So obviously, if we replicate that in the second half, which isn't always accurate, of course, but we'll end up with 64 goals. So that's a third more than what we did last season. So that's an improvement, right? When you look at it from stats, we're definitely scoring more goals. But again, the worries are still defensively. Defensively, you're still conceding shitloads of goals. Like, we might have scored 32, but I think we've conceded 28. Which is the likes of like Nottingham Forest and Fulham. They're the numbers that they're conceding. So attacking end, decent. Expected goals, assists, all that kind of stuff. Like, we're near the top, but you've got to tighten up that bottom end balls. And it actually reminds me a little bit, I was thinking, and I hate to use this comparison because it's Liverpool, but when Liverpool when they brought in Mane and they had Salah and they was outscoring teams a little bit, but then at the back, they were still really fragile, and they had like Mignolet. I can't remember who else was in the back line. But that's when they went and bought big and brought in Van Dijk and Alisson, spent 150 million on crucial players. And you saw a significant change then. And I think United, throwing money at something isn't always the best thing to do. I'm not saying that. If you have people who are good at recruitment, and I believe Ineos are good at recruitment, go and spend decent money in the midfield and in the back line as well. If you can go bring in a really top quality centre back who's got a bit of years ahead of him and can grow into the team, some people might argue that's already someone in Matthias de Ligt, but I still think I don't know, I still feel like there's someone else needed, like a big, great centre back, and then the same thing with the midfield as well. I know Balib's doing really well at AFCON. United, I think he's number one. Him and Anderson are number one priority, so if you can bring one of them lads in, I think you'll see us change significantly as a team. But it's improvement. It's slow improvement. It's maybe not as much as people would have wanted, but it's going upwards slowly. So, patience is needed. Is the game on TV tonight? All the games are on Sky Sports. All of them are on Sky Sports multi-view. And also, obviously, there's other ways to watch games if you want to do that. But that's up to you. Andrew's saying we need a high score tonight, my friend. We absolutely do, Andrew. Yeah, agree with you, mate. It needs to be a convincing win, right? It needs to be. We can't just win this game 1-0. We score from a corner. Obviously, everyone will take it because it's 3 points at the end of the day and you're happy. But I want a smashing tonight. That sounds so fucking bad. There's no way I could put it without it sounding like mental. I want them to smash Wolves tonight. That's a better way to phrase it. Like 3-4-0. Šeško, a couple of goals. Yeah. Sam's gone. I don't know. His camera was playing up beforehand and his internet. So yeah, something to do with him. But I'm still here, so don't worry about it. We can still chat. I just hope we get through this game. We play well despite the players missing. You've got enough quality in there, definitely, to get the job over the line. But listen, it was only 3 weeks ago, that first half against Wolves, where everyone at the end of it, everyone was like, fucking hell, same old United doing the same fucking shit and blah, blah. And obviously we blew them away in the second half. But the first half was, don't forget that. They got a goal back and it was like, whoa, do you know what I mean? So I don't know how this game's going to go. To say I'm worried about it would be... There's like a 5-10% switch in my head at the back where I'm like, I am slightly worried about it. But I don't know. Maybe the United convinced me a little bit recently that they can get the job done. But maybe that's me being naive. Do you think Manchester United will win 5-0 against Wolverhampton? No, I don't. Genuinely, I don't see anything like that. I think I'll get into my predictions towards the end of the show, but I don't see anything like that. Thought on possible Neves incoming, Nick. I think it's bollocks, to be honest, mate. I think Ornstein put that fire out a little bit as well the other day. He was talking, not that I don't like the player. I really like the player, especially, we're talking about playing Wolves tonight. Remember every time we used to go Molineux and Neves would just fucking ping one in from 30 yards out and run the game. I'm always like envious of Wolves having him in the midfield. I like him as a player. I don't know how he's gotten in Saudi because I don't watch the Saudi league. If he's still the same quality or even better, then I would absolutely take him in a heartbeat. But I just think with Ornstein coming out and saying like there was 2 players, so there was Ruben Neves and there was someone else where he was like, nah, it's not really. There's not much in that. I think it's more agent driven. A lot of these stories that you see. So I do like him. So if we get, I think that would be smart business. I think Sam said the same thing as well. Bringing in someone like that who has played in the Premier League before, has held his own, was decent, can play in midfield, can tackle, can run, can pass, great from set pieces, which, Premier League nowadays is all about set pieces. We've scored the most in the league. So I think it'd be a really smart Shrewd signing. If you're asking me, gun to my head, if United do it or not, I don't think they will. I don't know who they're going to go and get. But I think they definitely need to go and invest. They're not going to react. I think it's kind of been the thought process from Ineos and Amarin. They're not just going to react because they don't have certain players available. If they're going to bring a player in, it's going to be for the long term and for the future of the club. So what that means, I don't know. Amarin's just been speaking on Mason Mount. He said he felt something, but I think it's small. I don't sound great. He felt something. It is winter time, so we've all been there. You know what I mean? He felt something, but I think it's small. I think it's not going to take a long time, but we never know. He's not ready for this game. Such a shame. He didn't say such a shame. He weren't rhyming, but I think he's Mason Mount. Whether people like him as a player or not, he seems to be a little bit like Marmite. Some people don't rate him. I've always rated him. I think he's a phenomenal player. I just think he needed a run of games, and I've said that consistently on this show. We are a better team when Mason Mount is in the team. Because people always go on about, look at the goals he scores, not Mount, but players in attacking areas. Like, look at the dribbles and goals he scored. But no one ever talks about a lot of the time, like, intelligent positioning on a pitch and knowing where to be and knowing certain trigger points when to press, and intensity off the ball and create, like, those kind of things. No one speaks about that. Like, that is qualities that all coaches love. And that's why Mason Mount, when he's been fit and available for the majority of the time, that's why coaches have him. Every coach has him in the team, and he becomes a pivotal cog. And we'll miss him tonight. But people have opportunities. I agree with, I don't know who it was who put it in the chat before, but Joshua Zirkzee has just dropped stinkers recently. I've just not been impressed with him at all. And maybe his head is already at Roma, mate. And you can't be annoyed at a player for that, because he might think, well, I've not got the opportunities that I deserved. But when he has come off of the bench, he's not done anything. The only significant thing I remember him doing really was that Arsenal game in the FA Cup where he bodied Gabriel and Saliba. And then the game against Lyon where he scored the header. And apart from that, it's kind of like, So I hope he has a good game, because, all in all, it means we're going to win the game if people like that are performing. On Zirkzee, funnily enough, Amrin's just been saying he needs to do his part to show his talent, because he's a talented guy. He needs to step up in the duels, because the rest, he has that. The fans love it, and just do his job and have fun. Step up in the duels. They're the key words there that you're hearing from Ruben Amorim. That's what I mean. For me, he's not physical enough. He's too blasé about his actions. Amorim likes intensity, and Joshua Zirkzee seems to be the complete opposite. Placid and play and, easy, and the league's not built for that. It's just not built for that at all. Right, let's get into 4 things to keep an eye on, because there's been these other Premier League games that have kicked off, so I'm very cognizant that people want to watch football rather than listen to me ramble. So let's get into 4 things that I see happening in this game, and I will go with. Let me have a look at the lineups again. Let me just pop that back on the screen. Stop that there. We've got the layouts. Can I go to a more kind of? Yeah, we'll do that. 4 things I see happening. Just looking at that lineup. Do you know what? Sesko's got to score tonight. I'm going to speak it into existence. Has got to score tonight. Has to. So Benjamin Sesko is going to score, maybe 2. I think João Gomez is playing for them, so I'll probably say he's going to get a yellow card. I think United win 2-0, but with a bit of a scare. And I'll go with Cunha to get a goal or an assist as well, I think. But you don't know where people are playing, I want to see. I like doing it more when I see the lineup and I see who's in what position. It makes it a little bit easier, but we don't have the luxury of that. We only have the graphic that's on the screen, which is what we've created and think is where the people are playing. But like I said, sometimes it's a bit of a surprise. Who knows? Fucking dog, who might be up front at this point. You never know. Andy saying Ugarte, Cruyff turn. Yeah. Well, that happened in the last game, didn't it? And everyone lost their fucking mind. It was like, what on earth is going on here? So yeah, who knows? Most importantly, please do enjoy the game. It's Wolves at home. This is statistically the worst team you will play in the Premier League. Facts. And one of the worst teams that's ever played in the Premier League. If you can't get that job done convincingly at Old Trafford, there's something fucking wrong with you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Have a good one, lads. Me and Chivy are going to... Sam's not on the post-match reaction, but me and Chivy will be on there discussing the game in full immediately afterwards. So please do come and join and share your opinions, man of the match, and your full analysis, because we always love interacting with that. And yeah, go and watch the football. Appreciate you all. See you in a bit.